What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. So one thing that I talked about on my post show, one of the things that actually, weirdly, I've been kind of intrigued with AEW is the direction of the Young Bucks now that they're no longer EVPs in character of AEW. And I've actually kind of dug what they've done with, the stripped out entrance. They're having to take Ubers. They have a bad locker room. And then, they got the jobber entrance to start out Dynamite again in their match against the Outrunners, which was hilarious. And then, Justin Roberts basically selling it like basically Matt and Nick and their opponents, Matt and Nick Jackson. And then there's like the graphic that basically says talent name, and it's just like one of those graphics that's unfinished. It's like, so it was intentionally screwed up for them, which I appreciate them willing to crack a little bit of sense of humor on them to like the type of humor that hey, almost like what Baron Corbin did to himself back in 2021 after he lost the whole King gimmick from him. And he became bum-ass Corbin, and then they got rid of it and made him Happy Corbin, which was cringe. And, but bum-ass Corbin was some of the best character work that I saw from Baron Corbin in his entire time in WWE. And this, listen, the Young Bucks have always been obnoxious. And, obviously the EVP thing was a little bit over the top, but they've always been decent wrestlers. But in terms of an actual character, at least, some sort of character development, this is the most that I've really seen from them. So I was really intrigued to see what they did. And then obviously the way that they started this, I thought this was fucking funny as shit, man. Like seeing them get because the Young Bucks generally as heels are not well liked. They are depending on who you talk to, they're a great tag team and they're like they put on spectacular matches. Like they may not be for everybody, but one thing for sure, they make their matches exciting. That's for sure. But so they have this great little match with the Outrunners in the tag team eliminator tournament that's going to set up whoever faces the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. So they do this match for about 15 minutes and then the Young Bucks win. Why? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine as what the fuck happened here. I dare somebody in the chat to explain to me how this was a good decision. How was this a good decision? For the Young Bucks, who have accomplished everything that could possibly happen in the tag team division in AEW, have accomplished everything possible, are at their lowest point creatively in terms of a character perspective because they're bums. They're bums. They're EVPs. They're nobodies. They didn't even get their own entrance. They were jobbers. And yet they beat a white-hot Outrunners team that's coming off of some of their best work with FTR and could really use the stamp of approval as guys who, need to be taken seriously in the tag team division, in a division that has been dog shit for a long time. And yet, for some reason, the Young Bucks won this match. And a lot of what was great in the open and building this gimmick was completely undone. Because if you're telling me that the Young Bucks are supposed to be this down on their luck, midlife crisis, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not an EVP, I'm trying to find my way in AEW moving forward. You mean we don't have an entrance, we lost our music, we're not even getting the proper respect from the ring announcer. He's saying Matt and Nick Jackson. And then you win? All that effort. Like you don't even get your names on a proper graphic. Yet that team is beating the Outrunners, an up-and-coming team that people really like and really enjoy. For the second time in basically the last 9 to 12 months, this team has had their legs cut out from underneath them, where they could have been put over and potentially faced the Young Bucks. I think it was at Arthur Ashe, and there's reports that the Young Bucks wanted to push them and put them over. So if they wanted to put them over back last year, why didn't you put them over here? I don't know what this creative decision was, but to me it was incredibly counterproductive. Like, what good does this do? Not only for the Young Bucks as characters in terms of their development, in terms of being, these down on luck bums, basically. What good does it do for their characters? And then with the Outrunners, a team that everybody likes and everybody wants to believe in and push for, you basically cut their legs out from underneath them and basically say, no, we're having you guys lose to the jobbers. What sense is there in that? Who the fuck's idea was this? How could you be so creatively inept in this respect to basically be like, hey, we're going to have the Young Bucks lose their EVP status nearly 3 weeks ago at All in Texas, which I actually thought they could have had some more rope out of this if the Young Bucks would have won that match. But okay, you create this compelling, narrative around them that, hey, they lost everything. They don't have access to company. They can't abuse their power. They can't take limos. They can't, do goofy shit anymore. They don't even have the ability to do their own entrance. Yet they can still go and compete in matches and win? Seriously, like, somebody explain to me how that makes any sense. I haven't found one person who's been able to find any logic in that mode of creative thinking. Because how is that even a logical way to proceed in any form of story? If you're trying to tell the story that the Young Bucks are losers now, they need to lose. That's what you're telling me. That's what you told me when they lost the match. That's what you've been telling me on television for the last couple weeks. These guys are losers. Yet you put them in a tag team tournament against one of your most over tag teams in the division, and you had the Young Bucks beat them clean as a sheet for reasons that I do not understand. Like, the Young Bucks, they put over Private Party literally in the first months of AEW Dynamite, like 6 years ago. The Outrunners needed this match this was as close to a layup as you can get in booking things. So I don't know whose call this was, if it was the Young Bucks saying we need to go over, or if this was Tony Khan saying the Young Bucks are going over here because I want the Young Bucks and FTR in the final. Who knows? But I watched this and I was dumbfounded. I was flabbergasted at this, especially at how much I was laughing my ass off 15 minutes prior to this finish. I thought it was funny as hell the way that this started, with the fans chanting jobbers at them getting a jobber entrance, them getting totally mistreated with Justin Roberts' intro. The graphic didn't even have a name on it, for God's sake. The early stages of this was brilliant. All they had to do was have the Young Bucks lose. In maybe in a humiliating way possible. Hell, you didn't even have to have the match go on that long. Like, it was a fun tag match, very entertaining. The Young Bucks always put on great matches. The Outrunners are very, very good, and have really become one of the best, one of the best things on AEW television. They're really, really entertaining, like really great. But this is the second time that they have had an opportunity to really put the stamp of approval on these guys, and they haven't done it. These guys are over as shit. Sell merch. Their promos are incredible. Like, I ripped them. These guys came after me on social media because I didn't understand it. But then all of a sudden I watched them. I was like, and I heard the crowd reacting. And I was like, damn, these people like them. And yet here they are facing bums and they couldn't beat them. So how am I supposed to believe in the Outrunners moving forward when they're losing to guys who don't even get an intro, who are supposed to be jobbers, at least the way you're portraying them? That's what I don't get. Creative malpractice again by Tony Khan. Like, I don't get this, man. I don't understand what the fuck they're doing. Really, just baffling creative from AEW and a really questionably formatted show throughout the night. I just don't understand what they were doing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.